Good evening. Tonight, we are here to talk about clarity under pressure, how we can get to it, and about the sparkle method. This is Michele Ho Lung, and it is the 56th episode of the Sparkle Experience Show. So last week, we started out with talking about stress and building a new relationship, recalibrating our relationship to stress. And through that, gaining a better energy and vitality through frequency. And that's what stress is. It's frequency. It is a feeling. It is something that if we can get to the bottom of it, we can clear it without actually changing anything physically, because it's all energy and vibration. You notice when life gets loud that your clarity seems to vanish. No matter how capable you are, if you can't get a handle on bringing your stress level down, it can get very foggy out there. So tonight, what I'm going to show you is why that happens and how to return to clarity quickly using the sparkle method. So let's begin. We explored last week how stress is not the enemy. It's a signal. It's our internal intelligence asking us for recalibration. And today we're going to go a little deeper, and we're going to talk about what happens when pressure rises and then, our clarity nosedives, and then what we can do in real time to gain clarity again. I've seen the same pattern with all sorts of people, managers, executives, entrepreneurs, consultants, just generally just people, and clarity disappears, not because you're weak, but because there's just too many layers of stress that are stacked on top of each other all at once. And if there's one type of stress, it's manageable. You have 2, 3, 4, 5. It's barely just from one thing. It's just, we talk about the straw that broke the camel's back. It's that concept of layering. So we can have work pressures, we can have health challenges, financial issues, family responsibilities, relationship stress as well, trauma that happens, overwhelm, the feeling of not being in control, lack of sleep. Each of these is manageable on its own, as I said, but when they stack up, your internal bandwidth, it collapses. It really does. And here's the truth. You're not breaking, but your bandwidth is breaking. So think of it a little bit. It's not that there's anything wrong with you. It's just that it's that capacity of being able to handle all these signals that we need to start to look at maybe in a different way. So there are several layers I think of when I think about stress. There's a mental layer where there's so many options, decisions, thoughts that are going through your mind. There's the emotional layer where there's feelings, there's the felt responsibilities, expectations. There's the energetic layer where we're absorbing other people's energies. You're getting inputs in from the environment. Old patterns are surfacing, which are triggered by different things happening in and around you. And most people try to fix, they're aware of the mental and the emotional, but not so much on the environment and the energetic layer. That is a frequency level. And when we can get to that shift on that frequency level, we can get clarity to return to us. A lot of times you'll try to push through, think harder, work at calming yourself. Clarity comes not so much from effort, but really from recalibration. Sparkle doesn't fix stress. What it does is it resets your internal signals underneath everything. And once the frequency, the energy levels, all of those different things in upheaval inside of you are aligned, then clarity just rises up very, very quickly. One of the things I am going to give you tonight is a simple tool, and I've shared it before on this podcast. This is not my tool. It's something that many practitioners use. It's applied kinesiology. It's based on that, where you're using your body as a pendulum. You're basically accessing your body's yes and your body's no. And what you want to do here is get yourself in a vertical position. That's the easiest. And if you are in your seat sitting, you pull yourself up erect and seat yourself on the chair so you're balanced. And then move yourself forward and backwards so you can feel freedom of movement forward or backwards. And then the idea here, you can do it standing as well, where you stand up, have that balance where you allow your body to move forward or backward as it wishes. And when you do that now, I want you to think of something. It could be whether you should eat something now or later. Pick something that you would say yes to, just as a starting benchmark. So for example, something you like to drink. So I have a cup of tea here. And do I want to take a sip of cup of tea now? And then I can see which way my body goes. And if I know I want that cup of tea now and I move forward, well, that is my yes. And if I don't and I move backwards, then that would be my no. So test it out because everybody's different. Some people go forward for the yes, some people go backwards for the yes. The point of this is that once you can develop some confidence in using this, what I like to call the sway test, then you can start to ask more serious yes-no questions to get your answers so you can have more clarity in the decisions you're making. This is a very powerful tool when you build confidence so you know that the answer is good. It's better than getting a daisy and going, he loves me not. This is a much more grounded practice and it's a simple one and you can stand up and do it as well. And if you stand up, it is the same idea. You would stand up straight and then allow yourself to have a little bit of sway and then you ask a question. If you move forward, which is my yes, it will be a yes. And if you move backwards, again, that'd be your no. And you can start out by asking simple questions that you can check easily and you record your moving forward or backwards and see if that was the best choice because you can gauge then and build some confidence in this tool. What I wanted to share now is a story about how sparkle can help you from a beautiful soul. Gloria, she had a difficult decision that she couldn't get clear on for months. And there were relationship dynamics in there. There were expectations, there were pressures of running the business, the small business. And she wasn't able to sleep. She was in this state of knowing she needed to make a decision, not knowing which way to go and not feeling good about what the decision she was waffling about. As I sparkled her over the phone, her voice, her energy, it started to shift. And she told me she felt lighter, calmer, more anchored, and she was so happy with the results. She said it was like driving through a dense fog where she couldn't see ahead of her. And suddenly the fog lifted and she knew what to do. And what was even better than that is she knew that she could take the action, which was the action she was fighting with, going back and forth on for months, and she was able to do it. So clarity returns, and when an action feels natural, once you have that feeling return to feeling aligned. Now, I'd like to offer a short sparkle session. Allow yourself to breathe in deeply. You can close your eyes and you don't need to think or analyze, just receive. And as we start into this, just notice what you notice. There's nothing to do and allow everything that needs to leave to leave. So here we go. So you've had a long day perhaps, and you've just got home from work. Just allow all the hustle and bustle of the day to leave right now. And then allow this beautiful light from the heavens to come from the heavens through your crown chakra. And just feel that energy, allow it to go wherever it needs to go in your body, to all the cells, all the tissues, all the organs. Just feel that energy circulating. Okay, so as you relax and notice in your body how you're feeling right now, notice if there was any shift or how relaxed you are in your body. Just notice that. Notice if your mind feels quieter, your breathing, how that is. You might have felt tingling perhaps or warmth. It's not about even feeling like some people don't feel even after several sessions. It's just about allowing release. And you might find yourself feeling lighter. You might find yourself feeling more relaxed or more energized to get work done. And if you're feeling something, what you just felt, whether it's subtle, noticeable, this is your natural state beneath the stress. And it is remembering what it is to just be. Sparkle energizes, and it also allows and facilitates release of heaviness, of regret, sorrows, all of those things, to allow yourself to forgive yourself and forgive others, not forget. And sparkle dissolves what gets in the way. So as I was saying earlier, when we can learn how to take a pause and realize that it's a matter of you taking control of what's going on in and around your body, your thoughts, your emotions, your feelings, and looking at what is causing you to be feeling this way and putting it in front of you and looking at it objectively if you can, and from there making a decision as to how you want to allow that to enter your space, because all thoughts have a frequency. Emotions and feelings have a frequency. Words themselves have a frequency. And when situations arise, there's all this energy around it too. That all has a frequency. So when you start to understand and see into the frequencies that might be around you, that is coming at you, then one of the things that I've come to terms with is that those frequencies, when we bring them into our bodies, the emotions, the feelings, those energies, if we're not able to release the negative and the heavy, that can start to affect us in our clarity, the thoughts that we're having, and also in our health, in what how we're able to keep ourselves healthy and above all the disease conditions that are out there, and also to help to realize that this is what is happening. Then we can use frequency to release and alleviate a lot of these things and the stresses and those pent up emotions, etc. It could even be low emotions with depression and things. And sparkle helps us to get back to clarity, because all of those things, pain, stress, discomfort, annoyance, grief and regrets and sorrows, all those things affect our clarity. It affects our ability to think rationally, to be able to look at things objectively, and also to be able to focus on what it is that we have on task to accomplish. Because when we're distracted by all of these things coming at us, that will impact our performance. So, what are you doing today that can help you to stay in a space of clarity in the midst of chaos, chaotic stuff that's going on, when things are not working right, when deadlines are up in the air, or when things are going rapid speed and you're trying to keep up as best you can? If this is all resonating with you and you'd like to explore how to get at this more with 3 practical power tools, I will be teaching these inside a workshop. And if you're interested in this workshop, email me at info@mentormem.com. In there, I'll go into a deeper version of the heavy light sway test that I shared with you tonight, my what's on my plate clarity sorter that I love sharing. It's visual, and my process and mapping basics, that is another tool to help you to get back into that felt space of looking at what you have to deal with, so you can bring this chaos into order and create a lived recalibration moment yourself, with your cognitive brain thinking at its best. Opens the door to clarity. Clarity isn't found, you see. It returns when your frequency realigns, when you get centered, when you get grounded, when you are able to tame those thoughts and gremlins, as I like to call them, in your mind, because it's the shoulds and the shouldn'ts and all that drama sometimes. And when the noise quiets, when you can quiet that noise, when you can get your mind focused more, then that fogged up feeling can lift, and you can finally see that road ahead like Gloria could see. If you have questions, feel free to reach out, and if you'd like to book a 15-minute meet and greet with me to see if Sparkle can help you. It's not where you have to tell stories. Sparkle works just perfectly in silence. Thank you for being here, and until the first week in December, we will see you again on the Sparkle Experience Show. Good night.